So first physical quantity we are going to deal with is path length. So in this, I'll go with an example, then we will be able to understand it easily. Suppose if I have some object and that object is resting on ground. So what we are doing, so some external force applied on it, we are not going to bother about that external force. What happened when some external force acting on it, so it is at some position, okay? And after application of that external force, this object position got changed. Okay, so whenever position changes with respect to time, then we call it as motion. Already we defined it. Now how much change in its position is there, that change in its position we consider it as path length. Path length or distance both can be treated here, and both are same only. Now path length means what? The change in position of an object with respect to time, we call it as a path length. Next, one more thing will be there similar to this, that is displacement. Displacement is what? The change in position of an object. Same example I am considering. The change in position of an object with respect to time, we call it as displacement. But there is a small difference between path length and displacement. When we are considering displacement, we will consider the direction into account. The change in position of an object with respect to time in a specified direction is called displacement. Okay, so path length is not having any direction, whereas displacement is having direction. So here comes one basic phenomenon called vector and scalar. Actually this comes in the next chapter again. There we will be studying about vector and scalar in detail. Here I'll be defining these in simple terms. Okay? So vector means a physical quantity which is having magnitude as well as direction is called vector. Okay, so this our displacement comes into vector quantity. The physical quantity which has only magnitude, which does not have any direction, that can be taken in terms of scalars. So we have plenty of examples like time, it is not having any direction. Temperature, it is not having any direction. And mass, which is not having any direction. So all these are examples for scalars. So already vector example we have seen, displacement. Okay, so displacement is an example of vector, right? So we have many examples for vectors also that we will see in further cases. Okay, when we are going with that, there itself I will tell you. Forces also comes under example of vector only. Now we are somewhat clear with what is mean by path length and what is mean by displacement. The change in position of an object, if we measure, that measurement we are taking it as path length. If we are measuring that with respect to some specified direction, then we are calling it as displacement. We will solve some problem based on this, then we will have more clarity on it. Suppose there is a problem in this, like right, see here. So what is given in this? Assume a school or college, okay, if it is located at 2 kilometers away from your home. In the morning you are going to school, and in the evening you will be coming back to home. In this entire trip, what is the distance traveled and displacement covered? So what is mean by distance here? Distance is nothing but our path length. What is the path length traveled and what is displacement covered, they are asking. So both has to be calculated. So we'll see how it has to be calculated. We'll take some illustration to find it out. We'll take some illustration to find it out. Like if you go with an illustration, just hold on. Just a minute. One, just a minute. Yeah. Right. Now, this is what the illustration what we are speaking about now. So what is happening in the morning? We are started from home and we are going to school. So the distance covered is 2 kilometers, and in return they are covering same 2 kilometers only. Now what we have to calculate, this is a simple problem only. So what we have to calculate in this is, we have to calculate path length first. Path length. Path length means what? What is the total distance traveled by us? So what is the total distance traveled by us? So in the morning we have traveled 2 kilometers. In the evening we have traveled 2 kilometers. So path length means, so 2 kilometers plus 2 kilometers. So what we got totally 4 kilometers is our path length. Next, what else we have to calculate? We have to calculate displacement. Displacement when we are calculating, displacement when we are calculating. So what we calculate is directly from starting to ending. Starting to ending, whatever shortest distance is there, that we will be calculating. So what is the starting point? Is our home. What is the ending point? We are going to school. Again we are coming back to home only. So ending point also home only. So from home to home, so home to home, what is the distance? If we measure, the distance becomes our displacement. So what is that? So it is 0 kilometers. Okay. So we have we have same point. Initial point and final points are same. That's the reason we are getting displacement as 0 kilometers. Right now, that is how we calculate displacement and path length. We will see with one more example and we will have clarity. Before that, I will show you one simple diagram to understand clarity on this path length and displacement. So I'll go with that illustration. Just hold on. Right. So this will be the best example, I feel. It is happening. It is not coming. Oh. Yes, it is not coming here. I'll take it from some other place. So hold on. Oh. Just a minute. Right. Probably it comes here. Right. Now, this is the best example, I feel. So what is happening? The person, he started from here and he traveled all the way and he came up to here. Sorry, he started from here and he came all the way and he ended up here. So if we want to calculate path length or distance, we have to go with all this path and we have to calculate. That is our path length. If we want to calculate displacement, what we'll be doing? We will be going with the starting point to ending point. Directly we'll draw a straight line. So why? Because a straight line gives always the shortest distance. So that will give us a displacement. So displacement is our shortest distance between initial and final point. And here we have to note one more point. Always distance is always, or path length is always greater or equal to displacement. Okay. And one more point, displacement, whatever displacement we have, it can never be zero. Sorry, it can never be negative. It is it cannot be negative. So it should be positive or it should be zero. Whereas when it comes to path length, so what happens to path length? Path length, it can be positive, it can be negative, it can be zero also. Okay, so that is how we have path length and the displacement. We will go with the further one more example, then we will have complete clarity on this. See, here one more example is there. So in this, what is given? An athlete covers 3 rounds on a circular track. There is a circular track, on that the athlete is covering 3 rounds. So, and the track is having a radius of 50 meters. So we have to calculate distance and displacement just like previous problem, but the scenario is different. So you'll see uh, with an illustration we will understand clearly how exactly it is. So it is not coming from here. We'll go back to the same now. Right now. Okay, so athlete is running in a circular track, and when he is running in a circular track, what is happening? He completed 3 rounds. So what we have to calculate? We have to calculate distance and displacement. So for one round, how much distance he will cover, we will try to find. So how to find that total distance of a circle? Total distance of a circle will be taken by using total distance of a circle. The distance traveled in a circular path can be taken with the help of circumference of a circle. What is circumference of a circle? The formula is 2 pi r. The radius is r, and how many rounds it is completed? 3 rounds. So 3 into 2 pi r we will consider for path length. Okay. Now, so what about r value? So given. So what is r value? R is equals to, it is given 50 meters. Already it is in standard units, so we don't need to convert. If it is not in standard units means if it is not in SI system, then we have to convert it into SI system if it is there in from CGS or FPS. Okay, so already it is in SI system, so we don't need to have any conversion. Directly we'll substitute in this. So what we will get, path length is equals to, so what we'll be getting, 3 into 2 into pi, 3.14, 22 by 7 you can take, or 3.14 you can take, and this is 50. Okay, so now, so if we calculate this, we will end up with the answer. So that is how we calculate a path length, right? Now, next next concept, if we go with the next concept, uh, we have to calculate displacement also. So hold on. So it will come around calculate. If we calculate, I don't want to go with the calculation part in detail, so directly I will be going with the answer approximately. So it comes around 3 into 2 into 50, it will come 300 into 3.14. This if we calculate approximately, the value will come 942 meters we will get. Okay, so this is what path length, total distance traveled by the athlete. And when we speak about displacement, if we speak about displacement, so what do we get? He completed 3 rounds. That means if he started from point A, so after completion of 3 rounds, where he will be? Again, he will come back to point A only. So its initial point is this, and final point also that only. So again, so if we speak about displacement, what do we get? Displacement will become equal to 0, right? So in this example and in previous example, it came displacement as 0. It doesn't mean that always we will be getting 0 as displacement. That should be noted. Suppose if the person is moving from A, and if we come to this point, if we calculate displacement, what happens? It is diameter will be our displacement. This is what is straight line. So what, in that case, what will be our displacement? So 2r is our diameter. That means 2 into 50 meters is our displacement. That means 100 meters will be there as a displacement. Okay, this is not there in the question. I just created it. Okay, to understand, for better understanding. Okay, so that is about path length and whatever displacement we have spoken about. Next, further, we will go with the further physical quantity. So distance and displacement both completed. Both completed. We will go with the next physical quantity. Before going to next physical quantity, what we will say here, suppose the same athlete example when we are speaking, if the athlete when he is running, we can say he is running and we are calculating his distance or displacement. If number of athletes are running, some more number of athletes are running, so how to say who is going fast, who is a little fast, or who is going with average fastness? All those fast, faster is average. So that is not the way to speak about, to say who is more efficient or who is moving faster. So what we have to have here, we need to have some better explanation to explain about the fastness or slowness of the athlete which is taken in the given example. So to define this fastness, define this fastness or slowness of a person. So what we do, we are going with another physical quantity which explains clearly about this. So in terms of its magnitude. So that is a physical quantity which explains about fastness or slowness is our speed. So speed I am indicating with V, symbol V. Okay. And displacement, whatever distance and displacement we have spoke about in the previous one. So this you will take it as S only. This also I'll take it as X only. In some other cases, they may take it as a D or X. I will be taking it as S. Okay. Now, as I spoke about this as a vector, no? So to differentiate vector and scalar, I'll put one small arrow mark above it. That means it is having direction, it indicates. Okay. Right. Next. So here speed. When it comes to speed, so we will be taking in terms of path length. So how much path length he covered, the person covered in a specified time, that will be taken as speed. So in simple terms, if we want to say the rate of, we are speaking in terms of time, no? That's the reason I'm using this word rate. The rate of change of path length or distance. The rate of change of distance is known as speed. Okay, the rate of change of distance is known as the speed. And so if we write formula for this mathematically, what do we write is, so what do we write the mathematical formula of it? Rate of change of distance they are saying. That means distance, rate we have used means in the denominator time it will come. Okay, so that is how we will define speed mathematically. So whenever we define any physical quantity, obviously we have to write unit and dimensional formula, because already we have seen about them. So distance unit, already we know it, meter, and time unit is a second. So meter per second is unit of speed. And what about dimensional formula of it? Dimensional formula, if we write m, length is not there, so m power 0, sorry, mass is not there, m power 0, length is there, so L, and time is there, T power -1, as it is there in the denominator. So this is what it's a dimensional formula, right? Now further if you go, what else we can define is one more physical quantity we can define, that is a velocity. Velocity also I'm indicating with V only. But here one small difference will be there from speed to velocity. So when we are going with velocity, it comes with an arrow mark. So already we have come across what arrow mark indicates. So if there is an arrow mark, it indicates that it is a scalar quantity. Sorry, it is a vector quantity. So speed is a scalar quantity because it is involved with the distance or path length. So and time is also a scalar quantity. Both are scalar, so we are getting speed as a scalar quantity, right? So velocity is a vector quantity. That means easily we can say the rate of change of displacement. The rate of change of displacement is known as path length. Okay. Now in this, what we will write formula mathematically, V is equals to displacement by time we will be writing. Displacement by time we will write. Okay. Now from what about units of it? So if we write, we are speaking about units. So what we can write units of it? Same. Units will be same because the distance unit and displacement unit is the same. So displacement unit is meter and time unit is second. So meter per second is its unit, and dimensional formula is what? Same it will come. As same unit and same same unit and same formula is there. So dimensional formula also comes the same. M power 0 L T to the power of -1. So only one thing should be understood clearly. Here distance and displacement have same unit and same dimensional formula. Speed and velocity have same unit and same dimensional formula. Only major difference is This is not having direction, whereas this have direction. Okay, speed is having no direction, velocity is having direction. That is what the major difference, right? So when we speak in terms of magnitude, if I say 20 meter per second, so what does it mean? It is a speed only. If we specify a person is moving with a 20 meter per second in east direction, then if you mention direction to it, then it comes into velocity. If you won't mention direction, it will go into speed. Okay, that is what the major difference between speed and velocity. And here we will have a number of sub definitions that we will see in the next page. What is that? Speed, I said. Here, suppose if a person is traveling different instance, then it comes with one more physical quantity called average speed. Average speed. Average speed is what? If his person is traveling different instances, then what we take average speed as the total distance traveled. The total distance traveled in the total time. So the total distance traveled, in the total time is taken as average speed. Okay, so what we write formula, we average, if I write, so what do we write? Total distance by total distance times total time we will write. So obviously whatever speed it is, whatever velocity it is, units will be same, dimensional formula will be same, average speed or instantaneous speed, whatever are there. That means if we go with an example, suppose a person started from this point and is going in this way, different paths he has taken. Okay, so finally he ended up here. Now this is his starting point O, and is traveled to A, B, C, D, E, F, finally ended up at G. Okay, so O to all the way G he traveled. So in this given example, so what we are taking, so is traveling at different distances, the time will be involved will be different. So what we are doing, we are calculating O to A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, E to E to F, and F to G. We are calculating all the distances. This total distance only we are calling it as path length. Okay, so the total distance by how much time it is taken from O to G, the total time we have calculated. Now this total distance by total time, if we do, we will get average speed. Why we are going with this is, if I want to specify the velocity of the velocity of the person who is traveling from O to G in a single term, so we cannot say, because he may not be moving with same speed in all these intervals, O to A to B, he may not be moving with the same speed. If I want to mention the person speed in a single magnitude, so I have to use average. He may be moving with 2 meter per second here, he may be moving with some 5 meter per second here, he may be moving with here some 7 meter per second, here he may be moving with 1 meter per second only, slowly. Okay, so different instances he is having different speeds. So we cannot specify single speed for this person for his journey. So to specify a single speed magnitude, so we have to go with average speed. So what will average speed will give? It will give an average what the speed is traveling with. Okay, now units and dimensional formula will be same, I am not going with that. And here comes one more value, one more physical quantity, instantaneous speed. Instantaneous speed. So instantaneous speed is what? Instantaneous speed. So here we will be writing for what is the speed of the person at any instant. Suppose at this particular point, if I want to know what is the speed, here I mentioned from A to B, is the speed is 5 meter per second. It doesn't mean that you will be having 5 meter per second at this point. Okay, so you may be having, may not be having. If I want to know what is the speed at this particular instant, then that will give instantaneous speed. So speed of an object or speed of an object or a person, speed of an object at any particular instant, speed of an object at at an or at any instant of time, at any instant of time is given by, at any instant of time is given by instantaneous speed, is known as instantaneous speed. Okay, so how do we write it? Here we will be using one simple mathematical notation, that what is that is, see, so for writing this, what do we mention here is v instantaneous, we'll write v instantaneous is equals to delta s by delta t, we will be writing, where s is displacement, sorry, where s is the distance and t is the time. Why we are mentioning this delta s is we want for this instant, that means I am taking small interval over here. In that small interval, whatever speed it is possessing, that possessed speed, we are calling it as instantaneous speed. So at this small instant of time, small instant of distance, the time covered also will be small. That's the reason delta t. So how small it is, it should be very small to define instantaneous. So for that I am imposing a limit. What is that limit? The limit delta t tends to 0. That means such a smaller value of time, we are having a small instant of distance. For that we are writing speed. That's where we are calling it as instantaneous speed. Okay, delta t tending to 0. What does it mean? The delta t is tending to 0 means it is such a small value. In decimals it will be. It doesn't mean that t value is 0. That should be noted. Delta t is tending to 0 means such a small value we are taking here. Right? So that is about instantaneous speed. Same way we can define instantaneous velocity also. Okay. So when we specify direction to it, we will get instantaneous velocity. And the same way, we average, if we write for instantaneous velocity, what do we write? Total displacement by total time we will be writing. Okay. That is how we get an instantaneous velocity and average velocity if we consider. Okay. Now, here I have to tell you one more thing. Whatever bikes or cars showing that speedometer, if we see at any instant of time, it will be showing some value. If it is digital meter, if you are going in some newly released bike, and if it is having some digital meter, and if the person is moving with some 57 kilometer per hour when we observe it. So whatever the speedometer showing the value, that value is what? It's instantaneous speed. Whatever instant we are observing the speedometer, that value is instantaneous speed value. Okay. So speedometer indicates instantaneous speed. And there will be one more meter in the bike or car which indicates the distance. That meter we call it as odometer. Okay. So odometer indicates distance. Okay, that will be given in terms of kilometers, right? So odometer indicates distance and speedometer indicates instantaneous speed. It should be noted, it is instantaneous speed, it is not speed or not average speed. We have to mention specifically, right? So that is about instantaneous speed and instantaneous velocity, average speed and average velocity. So that is all about instantaneous speed, average velocity and all. Now we will go with some simple graphs to understand some how these speed and distance or displacement varies with respect to time. So those who will see clearly. If these are completed, we will enter into acceleration part. Okay, right.